Hey everybody, and welcome to a brand new edition of my 12 favorite Diana Ross albums. And today it is the very last one. I've done all 12. I've even cheated a little bit with the whiz. So this is the last one, and she is taking us higher and higher, of course. Take Me Higher, the incredible album, in 1995, with several producers, Narada Michael Walden being one of the main ones who produced 4 songs, Nick Martinelli, Brenda Russell, John, and the Boom Brothers, the protege of Babyface, who did an incredible job in producing 2 fabulous songs. Now, first of all, let's stop and acknowledge this album cover and the booklet of photos, incredible photographs of Diana Ross that she did in Alabama. All photographs were taken by Reuven Afanador, and she was styled, although I'm sure Diana Ross had a lot of input but the styling was credited to the incredible Michaela Davis, incredible designer, and who did all of the styling and all of the, chose all the photos. Most of the gowns belonged to Diana Ross, but a few of them were lent or chosen, several designers. And especially the evening gowns, the red tulle, fabulous evening gown that she wears on the porch of a house, as well as the black beaded gown, which is not on this album cover, but it was used for the single I Will Survive, because Diana Ross sings I Will Survive. Let's dive right in. The first song, Take Me Higher, an amazing song, a dance classic. It was a huge hit in Europe, number 10 in the UK. It started at number 10, and it really could have gone higher. The album was not a hit in the United States, but a huge hit in Europe, all over Europe, in Australia as well. It was a big hit in France. I remember Take Me Higher being played in all the radios. I would go to different places and I would hear it, so it was kind of random, and I could hear the song. So it was really a big hit. And also in French, ailleurs, not higher, but ailleurs means elsewhere. And so a lot of people thought that she was saying take me ailleurs, which means take me elsewhere, in half French, half English, because the French want everything to be French. So fantastic song, great beat, great rhythm, a lot of unbelievable remixes that came out. I got the remix CD, and I got the remix CD of I Will Survive, because there were a lot of hits on this album and a lot of singles. If You're Not Gonna Love Me Right, second song that goes right into the basis of this album, what this album is all about. This is an album that Diana Ross wanted to be of her time. She wanted to make it a modern album and a young album. And at the time, the music that was played a lot, that we listened to, and the style was the new jack swing. You even had whole collections in record stores where that was the type of music that you could listen to. There was rock, soul, disco, and new jack swing. And so this is something that particularly adheres to the style of Diana Ross, because, as you know, Diana Ross has a very powerful voice, but she can also just follow along, move along. She has this beautiful speaking voice. She doesn't impose in a very diva-ish kind of way, the screams and the yells. She can do, her voice is just powerful, and her personality is, enough for her to just put a stamp on it. And If You're Not Gonna Love Me Right, you hear a lot of background singers, like you will hear on the entire album, and Diana Ross just arrives at the right moment at the right time. And she lets a lot of room for the producers and for the musicians and for the backup singers that are with her. A lot of room, which really showcases her in the most magnificent way, because they're all in awe of this incredible artist, and she really allows their creativity. After that, you have The Voice of the Heart, which is the one song which you would call the most Diana Ross-ish song, because it's a message song. It's her voice again, her beautiful voice, very well put on this orchestra. And it's a song that, you know, I love these songs that seal albums because it just sets the mood. And then, you know, we move on to something else. Let Somebody Know, produced by Brenda Russell. Again, another producer who I love would have produced, you know, an entire Diana Ross album. And this is one of those climbing songs. You know, they reach a climax. It starts slow, and then you have the chorus and orchestra, and, like, you know, it all just goes up and up and up and up and up, and it's really very gospely, if you can understand. Then we follow up to two songs which are my favorite in this album because it's just the perfect rhythm, the perfect casing for Diana Ross's voice. And it's also something very new, and you realize how powerful and how masterful Diana Ross is, what she can do with her voice, and how she doesn't shy away from something that is modern. Those are the two productions by the Boom Brothers. And so Keep It Right There, where, you know, Diana Ross does the ah, ooh, ah, and the music is kind of subdued, and, you know, she's just telling you to keep it right there, keep it right there. And you have a chorus behind her that is really constant, and she just goes up and in and out, and she just sways through the song in such a beautiful way. And it's just absolutely fantastic. She is the shining jewel of this beautiful, beautiful dance number. And right after that, Don't Stop, which is very close. You can understand why they put them together in the style. But this one has something very, very particular, is that the rhythmic is the closest I can describe as this Christmas bells. You know, you hear the shaking of these Christmas bells, and they're very, you know, don't hear them very, very loudly, but they're constant throughout the song. And Diana Ross is saying, you know, don't stop, you know, don't stop. And she's just playing around with the lyrics, saying them in different ways, acting them throughout. And it's just absolutely beautiful. My two favorite songs on the album. Then we go to a song called Gone. Very, very haunting melody, very, very beautiful, very, very sad song. And but still extremely modern in the way it is orchestrated, and just beautiful. And Only Love Can Conquer All is one of these message songs that Diana Ross has a particular affection for, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I Never Loved a Man Before, beautiful song. To me, she's singing to Arn Ness. I think he was the husband of the time. It's just such a beautiful song. A woman who is saying that she is realizing that she never loved until this moment. And isn't it something that happens, I wish could happen to all of us, but it does in time if you're patient. And it's just very, very, very beautiful. And I thought that we were still in love, in the same vein, but a very, very sad song and a completely different storytelling. And it's very funny because this is a song that, of course, I had heard, I'd listened to the album many, many, many times, but kind of just I kind of forgot about it. And I was much more attached to the dance songs on this album, which I really loved. And I just, you know, adore Diana Ross when she gravitates toward, you know, dance music. But a friend of mine who I lent the album to said, my God, listen to the words and the way she is acting, because she's actually talking to a man and explaining her feelings and the way that they had spent a moment together, and thinking that all of these messages were, I thought that we were still in love, because obviously he didn't. And it's just heart-wrenching, just beautiful, and just gives you a glimpse of how Diana Ross acts her music and her songs. And she is an actress. I will never say it enough, but through this, she's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And then the very last song, a gift from God, because would anybody have ever thought that Diana Ross would cover the disco classic by Gloria Gaynor? God bless Gloria Gaynor, who's had so many records, amazing voice, amazing albums, but she is known for I Will Survive. In France, people have no idea she's ever sung anything else, although some of the most beautiful, beautiful songs. And but you know, I Will Survive is Gloria Gaynor, and only Diana Ross could take it. And it's been sung by a lot of artists, and all different styles. It's one of the songs that's been covered the most. I think there were 28 covers in the recent years, you know, between 80 and today. But this one, just because it's close to the original being a dance classic, I mean, not like the Cake version where it's just, you know, completely different. It just, she is able to twist it around and make it a different song. And at no time will you think of the original song. It doesn't have the famous music that you hear in the original, and it is completely reproduced by narrator Michael Walden. He changes the pace. The beginning is also different because Diana Ross dedicates the song to her girls, and then the background vocals are very powerful, while in the original you don't have any background, and it's just an unbelievable song and a great version, and just absolutely fantastic. So this rounds off my 12, it was actually 13 favorite Diana Ross albums, and I will be back next week with a whole new collection. And this time I'm taking a break from doing one single artist, but I'm going to cover a medium which I adore, which is the live album. And there are 10, I chose 10 of my favorite live albums from female singers that I adore, and some of these albums are absolutely legendary, and the artists that I will that have produced and recorded these albums are also great artists. So I will see you next week with 10 of my favorite live albums from all different artists, and I hope you will like that collection as well. See you next Sunday.